All right. Hey, everybody. It's Justin Kahn, co-founder of Fractal, and we are back with another episode of Fractal Radio, where we take you behind the scenes with some amazing game designers and developers. And today I'm joined by the co-founders of Tiny Colony, Arshia, Zach, and Topher. Welcome, guys.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you
Awesome.
for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Amazing. So we've been super hyped on your game. Where it's all over the Fractal website, and you guys are going to be doing a mint in just a short 9 days. How's the anticipation going? How are you guys feeling?
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, it's amazing, honestly, to see. First of all, thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here, and having the opportunity to have our minting event with Fractal and working with you and working with your team has been and is such a pleasurable experience. And we're really excited to bring this to our community and your community at the same time, and allow all these amazing people to enjoy entering the Tinyverse through Fractal through our first minting event. So super excited to be here.
No, I was gonna say, like, it's pretty badass, like, to be in this situation where we're sitting here talking to Justin and working with your team, with Fractal. You guys are doing amazing things. Like, I was telling Zach and Archie and the rest of our team, like, how cool is it? Like, this is where we're at right now, and what we're building. It's just super awesome. Yeah, we're super excited. It's very cool. That's all. I just wanted to throw that in there. My
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I'm really grateful that you guys are giving us a shot. And let's talk about Tiny Colony, though. So tell me about how you guys came together to be working on a blockchain game.
For sure. Zach, you want to start the story?
Oh, sure. So a lot of people in our Discord know this story. Some do, some don't. But me and Arshia have known each other for like 13 years, but we've never met. So we met online on Xbox, and we've just been playing COD, those back in the day COD, like, oh, baby, a triple, like just days like that, So yeah, we remained friends for a long time, and then 4 years ago we pitched about doing like a mobile game for Tiny Colony, and now we're here. We're in the blockchain, and we have so many different surprises, for Tiny Colony, for sure, and we're super excited. And I've been working with Arshia for 4 years now, and it's so crazy to see where the project is now. Like, we're talking to Justin Kahn. It's insane, man.
Yeah. It's been a crazy journey. As Zach said, we've been friends for a long time, and we've been talking about art and characters and story for so long. And about 4 years ago, we came together, and I had this crazy idea of ants and hyper realistic humanoid, highly intellectual ants building their colonies underground. And Zach was like, "Let's do it." And then we started kind of making all these characters. I started writing stories for it. We started making a mobile game for it. And then after 4 years of going back and forth, both of us working in our own fields and working on that on the weekends, we ran out of money. So I came to the blockchain, I came to the NFT space to raise money, and then just completely fell in love with blockchain gaming, decentralization, and DeFi. And then I told Zach, I said, "Hey, listen, I think this space is where we are meant to tell our full story in the way that it's intended, in the way that it's meant to be, in this new, challenging, exciting way that, obviously is very new to a lot of people, but it just formed so organically around what we had built." And it was right place, right time, right people, everything coming together to us being here today that I, truly appreciate. And, we went from doing our IDO last month on January 2nd, having like a 4-person team, and now we're at 40 people. It truly feels like we're on a rocket ship moving ahead. Just amazing, talented people joining us every day. It's a really cool experience. It's a really cool journey to be on.
Amazing. Congratulations. And Topher, how did you get involved in the project?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I started out with other projects doing a lot of marketing and branding with a lot of Cardano projects, and I moved into the Launchpad that launched Tiny Colony Star Launch, and Arshia was looking for a CMO, and I feel like I nailed the interview with him and Zach, and here I am, and we spend all of our days together. The
Yeah.
last several months. I mean, I feel like we're all best friends, like just in the
Yeah.
last few months with all of us, and that's kind of where I fit in. And yeah, no, I can't wait for Zach and Arshia to meet. Zach, you got to go to
Okay.
you got to fly out or something, or we got
I'm
to
going there. I'm
arrange some
planning it. Yeah, for sure.
company
Yeah.
retreat or something.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rather just go to Vancouver than you come to Greenville because it's just McDonald's, Walmart, and loud trucks. That would not be exciting. It's like
Sounds
giving
good.
birth at like a restaurant or like a fast food joint. Like, no, why? Why? I would rather come to Vancouver for sure. Why would you come to Greenville, man?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. 13 years and 4 years working together and still haven't met in person. But
Yeah.
that's amazing. So tell us about the game. Like you have these ants, kind of 8-bit ants. They're in different. Looks like they're going to be in different factions or
Yeah.
kind of guilds. I don't know what your terminology
Yeah,
is.
for
But like,
sure.
tell me about the game. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So Tiny Colony is a pixelated metaverse. It's a pixelated ecosystem that we call the Tinyverse. In the Tinyverse, there are many different types of game modes, events, and experiences, all in a pixelated format that our users and players can engage in their choice, in however way they wish. So one thing that, researching the blockchain industry and blockchain gaming, I realized that there's a bit of a lack of choice for players. And players and gamers really like to have choices, really like to have options, both in terms of the types of games that they play and in terms of the characters and the art and the, what they interact with in general. So we have multiple different types of game modes. One of them is our construction and management base builder, where players will be building an underground ant colony from the ground down. So they start with a small base, and then there's a base defense mechanism where night zombies will start attacking your base and try to eat your larvae, and you have to protect your base against all these zombies coming in. And then the NFTs will be your little guards at the base attacking all these characters as they come in. And then there's other game modes like Gladiator Wars, which are 1v1 PvP events. So only players that hold legendary or mythical characters can participate in there as gladiators, but other players that have other NFTs can participate as spectators and bet on their favorite gladiator. So that one's kind of like a point and shoot, like a small map arena point and shoot with using the hotbar for different spells and different blocks and different attacks. And then the winner of that will get loot and rewards in Tiny and NFTs. We have another game mode called Battle Arena, which is kind of like a team mode of that, but it's not a point and shoot. It's a turn-based game similar to XCOM. And all these different game modes are to kind of present all these present options to the players. If somebody likes to make a base, they can play the base builder. If somebody likes the 1v1 intense fighting, they can use the Gladiator Wars. If someone likes a more strategic gameplay, they can go to Battle Arena. And then once you start getting really good at the game, you can form alliances and you can participate in a thing called Tiny Wars, which is a larger scale battle arena in a tournament style. All of it leading up to the winner, the alliance winning a massive loot of Tiny and our in-game currency Teeny, which I'll get to, and NFTs, which they can apply to their colonies, apply to their characters, or resell in the marketplace however way they wish. But we have 17 different types of NFTs. All of them are applicable and integratable in-game. We're going to build a tiny bazaar, which is our in-game marketplace, where let's say you're playing the game, you just click on the store and you just purchase and bring in right away the item that you've purchased. And since it's built on Solana, it allows us for very quick transactions and very quick ability for players to just interact with it right away. Like when we as gamers, we play games, when we buy a skin on, let's say, Apex or Call of Duty, we don't have to wait for it for 30 minutes to be interacting with it. We buy it, we're right in there, we're in the game. And then eventually we really want to make this into an MMORPG. So a cute little planet with your cute little characters that you can run around in and have interact with other players. And then all these little game modes that we're making will be pieces of this universe that people will be able to drop into. So the Gladiator Arena will be this massive arena on this open world map that people come across, they go into, and now they're in the Gladiator Arena seeing all these people fight. And then they come out of it, they can go to their base, or they can fast travel to the other side of the map. So that's kind of the end goal for us. That's what we want to create. And also an anime TV show. So I come from a film background. I've been working in film for 6 years now. And, wanting to make an anime series was one of the first things we wanted to do, because it just sounded super exciting to tell this story on various platforms in different mediums and link them all together with this massive lore that I've been writing for 3 years. So our lore is 1,000-year history of the Tinyverse, that all these, quests from the game, episodes of the TV show, everything, every story that is being told in these different mediums fall into this lore, just to keep everything streamlined, keep everything on the same page, and make sure we don't run outside the lines of the story we're telling. So I'm working with our lead writer, Simon Ryder. He's an incredible writer, and we've been writing this massive document that we just pull quests from whenever we're designing the quests for the game. So we want to link it all together, and the most exciting part of it for me is once we've produced the show, once people start watching our episodes, how that will reflect the economy of our game and the value of the NFTs, depending on the occurrences in the show. So nobody knows right now who the protagonist of the show is going to be, and we're not going to say it until after the NFT releases. So whoever ends up being the holder of that character, hopefully will enjoy having the protagonist of our TV series, So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that we're doing here. It's super exciting. Yeah, to answer your question, that's what Tiny Colony is.
That's awesome. It's so ambitious. How are you thinking about, it sounds like you're building all these different experiences, both game modes and then media. How are you thinking about sequencing them and focus, like what's going to come out first, and like how are you focusing your resources?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So we've partnered with iLogos, who's a game studio who has produced 400 games and with over 1 billion downloads. They've produced games like Angry Birds 2, Simpsons Tapped Out mobile game. So as you said, this is quite an ambitious roadmap. So I wanted to break it down in pieces that makes it possible for us to do. So breaking it all down to these game modes makes it very achievable for us to produce the game mode after game mode. So we're going to have the early access of our base builder Q2 this year. And then at every roadmap point, so every 3 months or so, we'll be releasing our new game mode. So within the company itself, we're building the structure in a way where, so far I've been super involved in the day-to-day, working with everybody, and we just brought on board a COO who'll be running the day-to-day, so I can move on to the development of the show and working with the game studio on telling the story and building that. So we've kind of like staggered the tasks and our missions and our goals in a way where it's achievable and we have enough resources to put on each. And obviously, we're expanding as we go. So anytime that we feel like we don't have the resource that we need for a particular format or a particular medium, I'll be bringing on that resource to make sure that we can accomplish that. For example, I'm very close to moving into like full development stage of the TV show. So I've been talking to iLogos, the game studio, for quite some time. We've been working together on game design. They're at a point where they have everything they need and they're building. So all I need to do is every other day we have a morning call. We go over the work done, and then I go on to working with a tiny team, with a tiny fam. So what would come next is that I hire, let's say, a producer that I worked with for the TV show, and we start pitching, we start attaching cast members and all that. So we've kind of formed the company in a way where it's very accessible and easy for everybody to be involved in all the big picture stuff and know what's going on. We have we have a 9 a.m. morning meeting, and we have a 6 p.m. catch-up call every day where we just talk about everything that's going on. They're always super exciting calls where, it feels like we're in a room together talking, having fun. Even though I've never met Zach in person, even though I've never met Topher in person, it still feels like they're right there with me in the room. So yeah, I think, we've broken down these tasks in a way where we can be we can present it properly to our audience while having achievable roadmap points and deadlines for each one as well. So it all comes down to, I think, organization and distributing resources properly within the company, and knowing when you need further resources and not being afraid of bringing on those resources when you need them.
I love it. Sounds like you're incredibly organized, which is that's awesome. So tell me about the NFTs. Like, what's going for sale, in your mint, and like, how will the game modes interact with them?
For sure. Topher, would you like to?
Yeah. So obviously we have the colony sale coming up, and with our colonies, that is like kind of your gateway into the tinyverse. So, to be a landholder in a game like this, I think is going to be amazing. And we also want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity for that, right? So that's our first NFT mint. That's the one that we've been promoting heavily, but there's more. So we have our character mint coming up soon that we're going to do through Fractal, and then we have all these other characters and NFTs that we're bringing into the space. So there's huge room for that. And how do they integrate into the game? Certainly, let's say you're a user and you want to start your colony, or you want to start the construction and management. So you can either own a colony and start doing that, or you could rent somebody's colony from them and start doing it there. So now there's a utility to the colony holders, right? Or when the other game modes start coming out, you can get a character NFT, and you can start trading this character NFT. You can start bringing other NFTs and collecting it, whether that's armor or weapons or whatever. And so you're building up this NFT that you have, and he's going and he's winning quests, or he's completing battles and things like that. There's value to that NFT now that you can resell on the market. So that's amazing, right? And so that's really a big concept that we want to integrate into the game. But most importantly, I think it needs to be known that you could also play for free. So you don't have to own an NFT to come in and play Tiny Colony. Anybody can come in and start playing the game. But to really take advantage of all those great things into the game, certainly we would promote you to have an NFT so you can engage in whether it's the gladiator battles and all those other things. So, but obviously you don't need that to play the game. One of the most important things for our entire team and everything that we're doing is that we make a game that's fun and engaging, and at the same time a balance of that play to earn model that we see now. And so you have to kind of compare it to what are the other games that are doing it now, and are those games fun to play? First and foremost, we think they are, right? But sometimes maybe they're not. So we have to think, like, are a lot of people really having a lot of fun playing Axie Infinity at this point? They're limited on their game modes, right? So that's something that we kind of look at, say, okay, what can we do better? Can we have more game modes that are fun, more interactions, more opportunity for people to get in and increase that play to earn model while being engaged and having a good time? That's super important for Archie and Zach. We talk about that all the time. And I think, you could have a great game, right? But most importantly, it's the artwork, right? It's like the visuals of the game and the NFTs that you bring in. That's huge. So I really want Zach to talk about, like, how his art comes in and how he envisions, because he creates these NFTs and he creates we have an art team, and he runs an art team. I think there's 6 people on the art team now, I think. Yep. And but the visions of these characters are coming from Zach, and I'd love for Zach to talk a little bit about that, to be honest with you. I'd love to hear that.
Zach. I'd love to hear about. Let's hear about the art.
Yeah, sure. So, Justin, you can get a tiny bison as a pet. That's all you need to know. No, I usually start off in Procreate, so I'll start like with just general sketches and stuff, and then I'll transfer that sketch to a sprite, and then I'll do the detailing and stuff, and then eventually when I start, layering all these colors, and when I mean all, there's like only a certain color palette that I go off, because when you're dealing with pixels, one little pixel could throw off the entire image. So it takes a lot of time to create these characters, because if you think about it, you're dealing with small humanoid ants, but all of their intricate patterns, it's so mind-blowing sometimes, like, how to come up with these things. So yeah, my sketches definitely help that out a lot. And me and Arsha, we'll talk about all these cool ideas, like, what if we had a monkey, but he's got a coconut as a tail?
That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing. Let's make that an NFT, because why the hell not? Let's just do it. And we've got all of these characters, and then there's different variations of these characters. So all of these characters are hand drawn. It's not like thrown into a program and then randomly generated. And some of them, half of them, don't even look right. All of these are going to be hand drawn, especially the mythical ones. The mythical ones will be animated. And that's going to be super, super, because what we're doing is we're doing a system like a lot of games are doing, is where we go from like common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, mythical. So common would be super basic, it'll change like their head or something, or like their hair. But when you get into like mythical, that's where it gets like super serious. Like everything will be animated. You could have a tiny bison. You could have like a small little Justin Khan running around with you. This guy is the limit, man. I'm telling you. So yeah, I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy doing this a lot. I have worked so hard to get to this point to where I'm just doing characters, because me and Archie mentioned this. We were talking about this yesterday. It's like, man, we finally made it. We finally got past the hurdles, starting up, and now finally you're doing something that you love, and I love it. Yeah. And plus, I need to take care of my future son, so that's one thing.
Dude, any day now. Any day now.
Yeah, she could sneeze wrong, and that baby's flying. It's so stressful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but to add to that. Oh, go ahead, Justin.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say this is really beautiful, because like, if you're when in contrast to having your son come out, whatever happens with the mint is going to be fine. So you could just take a deep breath, and like it's gonna be all good. Like absolutely, that's beautiful. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, I was just gonna say, Zach has an incredible imagination and incredible artistry skills that I've never seen before, and it is. As a creator, it is a great pleasure to have a partner like him to be able to, present this to the world. Otherwise, I would just be a crazy person talking about a bunch of ants running around, without his artwork.
To make it real.
Exactly. Yeah. Without that illustration, it's nothing. It doesn't exist. And his ability to bring that forward in perfectly, exactly how I imagine it, exactly how we imagine it together as people that have been friends together for 14 years almost, thinking about this stuff. It is one of my favorite parts of the experience. When we're on late night calls talking about characters, and he tells me he has an idea about a monkey that has a coconut tail, and that's still like, sometimes he brings up the challenges for me as the creator and writer to be like, all right, I like that idea so much that I will find a way to input it into the lore. And I would go off on like a 2-hour tangent, writing with my co-writer, being like, I really want this part of it because the art looks so cool. And then we expand on it. And the story, it being a 1,000-year history, it really allows us to fit all these crazy ideas that we come up with in there without losing where we're going. Like every character that Zach has come up with still fits in the world because, I want it to, because they're so cool that I want them to fit in the world. So yeah, it's just a really nice experience.
I love you guys have like a great working relationship. It seems like, despite having never met, and really positive energy. I love it.
Very positive.
Doesn't it make sense though? You have like this great story writer, Arshia, comes up with these great, like this lore and these different factions, like the samurai faction and the Viking and the Persians and the spirits, and you have this like wild story for a game, right? It's not just like, hey, this looks cool, I'm gonna go point and shoot, but you have this like really in-depth story that goes along with the game. I think that really separates this game from a lot of the other games. A lot of other play to earn and blockchain games. It's this rich story, but Arcia's ability to tell this story combined with Zach's ability to actually produce what he's envisioning. It's an amazing partnership. I see it every day. It's really cool, man. Yeah, but you guys need to meet. So how
Yeah,
we need to
that needs to change. 100%.
Yeah, we should definitely do like very sad music in the background when like veterans see their like daughters. It's been like 4 years, and then I'm gonna like fall and cry, and you're gonna pick me up, and then like
It's me.
That's gonna be grab my hand. Yeah, we just when we hug, just don't pat my back like more than 3 times, because that would be considered very awkward. So just, pats is fine. And then we'll go out to eat at Vancouver. That'd be great.
Perfect. I love it.
All right.
Well, I haven't been to Greenville, but I have been to Vancouver a lot of times, and you should definitely go to Vancouver.
Yeah, nobody's ever been to Greenville.
So tell me a little bit about, you have this big vision. What's coming first? What's the first thing after the mint? What's kind of the first thing you're releasing?
For sure. So yeah, as Topher mentioned, we're releasing our colonies, our virtual lands first. We've designed the roadmap in a way where at every point where something becomes available, you're adding the players, our community, are adding to their collection of things that belong to the Tinyverse that all fit together. So they start with the colonies. They first choose their homes. They first choose the homes for their NFTs, what they want that to look like, how they want to shape it. And then we move into our character mints next month. So we'll be having, a lot of different characters from every faction for people to also choose. We have those 6 rarities. We have 10 factions. That's, 60 different plates, what we call them, for the NFTs. So each plate will have a variety and a number of different characters that fit within that plate of characters. So next up will be the character mints. We'll be having 12,000 of them. And then we'll have our mythical sale. So we'll be selling our mythical characters separately. And then we'll be selling the spirits separately as well after that. There's only 25 spirits in the Tinyverse. And the spirits are kind of the source of energy, the source of life in the Tinyverse. And this is a part of the story that we'll be telling throughout different mediums, throughout our marketing strategies, throughout different YouTube videos. And, all of our artwork kind of hones in and kind of comes back to the same point of telling that story. After that, we'll, as the game is being produced, we will be releasing our early access quarter 2. Every month, we'll be having monthly updates to the game, just optimizing the economy, optimizing the NPC behavior, optimizing, the size of the assets, textures, shaders as much as we can. And then every roadmap point, every 3 months, we'll be adding a new game mode for people to interact with and incorporate all their NFTs into. All leading up to us having the MMORPG produced in 2023. Alongside the anime, which I'll be kind of focusing on a lot. And I really I'm super excited to direct the pilot of that, because that's just all I think about right now. It's I'm like, oh, this shot is going to look like that. It's like people are seeing all these 8-bit characters, but I'm seeing this anime cinematic kind of storytelling of how I'm going to tell the story of the first sorcerer becoming, and then we continue growing, we continue updating. I want to make Tiny Colony into a well-known brand, not just a blockchain game. I want to be known across the blockchain game world, across the anime world as a very successful anime TV series. We're working on our merch right now, which I'm super excited for. And then the way we're building the Tinyverse and the Tiny Colony game, we can continuously add different types of game modes as we come up with them. Like right now, I've been planning another game mode that is not on our roadmap that I would add later, which would be Tiny Games, which is kind of like a Squid Game inspired game mode where people would buy a raffle ticket. 400 people are chosen to participate in all these mini games, and the winner gets this massive prize pool. So there's all these different types of games that we can fit around this world, that people will be able to interact with and apply all of their NFTs to, and then obviously win rewards, which is super important to us. We want our community to be interacting with this universe, interacting with the tinyverse, playing the game that they really enjoy, trading the NFTs that they like, collecting the NFTs that they really like, and then watching the TV show and really feeling like they belong to this world, to this tinyverse. Because that's what this space is all about. It's about ownership. It's about decentralization. It's the difference between me purchasing a Call of Duty skin that 100 other people have than me purchasing this character that has a name, has a description, fits somewhere within the storyline, is one of one that that person chose personally because it connects with them. So I think that's where the amazing part of the blockchain and decentralization comes into place, where it really gives us gamers the ability to choose and feel like we own it, because we do, because whoever owns an NFT in the tinyverse is an investor in the tinyverse. They own a piece of the tinyverse, and that's how we would like to look at it. That's how it's different from other corporations in the past. I personally love this shift that is going on with the blockchain, how you're giving control and power back to the people, because that's where it's meant to be. I don't, the DAO that we're going to set up for Tiny Colony is going to allow our community to choose so many different things for the Tinyverse, including scenes of the anime show. I'm going to write like 5 different options for how a scene could go, and then we have the DAO. People will be voting based on their governance tokens and how much they have. Obviously, the type of colony that you have, the rarities of characters that you own will all go into play in terms of your governance capabilities. But then those people that have really invested their time and energy into the Tinyverse will be the decision makers of the Tinyverse alongside us, alongside the team. And I don't see myself directing it the way I want it to go. I really love the idea of the community directing it the way they want it to go. We build this structure, we build this foundation, and then we hand it over to our community. We hand it over to the Tiny Fam and see what they'd like to do with it. We present different game modes, and they can choose the next game mode they want produced. The possibilities are endless. There's so many different directions we could go with it.
I think you're absolutely right that this is the future. As a gamer, it just makes sense to be able to have ownership of things. Buying things in game is already the predominant business model of games, but you get nothing for it. You can't really trade them. They don't really belong to you. And just moving those onto a blockchain and having you have ownership over it makes a lot, it's kind of like a natural progression to me.
Absolutely. I think so too. I think, listen, like you have, people that invest into the game itself, right? And then they invest the time in playing the game. So there's the engagement of the game, but in the end, they get the entertainment and the engagement of the game. Like there's the ownership still goes to the game developer. The money still goes all to the game developer, right? And so this gives the player, the user, it allows them to almost be the developer, it seems. So, but I had a question for you, Justin. So with the Fractal NFTs, I know that there's utility. Like, where do you see some of the utility with the Fractal NFTs as far as some of the games that you guys are launching on the Launchpad and other games that you're interacting with? What do you see with some of that stuff, with some of the Fractal NFTs?
Yeah. So with the Fractal NFT, it started off as an experiment where we wanted to give out a reward to all the people who were participating in our community. And we distributed, I think, about 5,000 of the 100,000 NFTs so far were claimed. And my goal is that we partner with, amazing game developers like you guys to figure out and create benefits for the Fractal NFT holders. So we've had people talk about doing like cosmetic benefits, or like other people are trying to, they want to build like special levels in their game that are available to Fractal NFT holders. And we've had other people do like whitelists to try the beta. Gina Pitts did like a whitelist. If you're on the, Fractal NFT holder of the, like in the Hexa faction, you could get on the beta whitelist automatically. And so, we want to do and support all sorts of different things for with the different game partners that we have.
And the opportunities for that are so big. Like everything that Fractal is doing, you guys are becoming the hub of GameFi and blockchain gaming. And it's not just, hey, we want to present these great projects with you. I mean, you guys are vetting each project thoroughly, which is amazing. You guys are helping develop the project. I mean, the support that we've gotten from Fractal has been absolutely amazing.
It's incredible.
And yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
And with this partnership that we have with you, I could see the Fractal NFTs playing a role, the utility within the Tinyverse, and I could see Arshia's even kind of bounces. I mean, your mind goes, Arshia, and
I have some ideas.
Great ideas. He's
Yeah.
got great ideas of incorporating that, and the utility. You mentioned whitelisting as well. With the Fractal NFT holders, and we know that your previous project, House of Sparta, which are minting,
like in
awesome.
30 minutes, I think, right?
in 30 minutes,
awesome.
which is amazing.
30 minutes, yeah.
About 30
Super
minutes,
cool.
which is amazing. So, I know that they also did a whitelist for their NFTs, and one thing that I think is really important to stress is Fractal is all about community and bringing people in, and not just showing them these great projects, but engaging them into these projects and building up this amazing community, right? And that's really important to us. That's what really gravitated us to Fractal. Even though we started our colony sale before coming on board with Fractal, we had some certain pieces moving. One thing that I definitely wanted to mention, and I think would be really cool, and something that's been brought up, because we listen to the community, is we would like to offer a whitelist, more utility for the Fractal NFTs for our colony sale. And I know that's been a lot of chatter going on, so I think that would be really cool. So the Hexa holders and the Penta holders can get whitelisted for a colony sale. Certainly,
That's incredible, and I know they'll love that.
Awesome.
It's
I
really
think that
warms
would be
my heart.
great.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we'll put details about that into the Discords, and I really appreciate what you said about like us trying, being supportive. When we were building Twitch, this is probably 10 years ago now, or actually 11 years ago when we first started. My co-founder Emmett was really like, he identified like streamers are our customers, and we want to be the best friend to streamers. We want to just do everything possible to make like whatever you want to like make your life better, whatever we can do to make your life better, we'll do that. And we would go above and beyond, like random stuff. Like I remember one content creator wanted to get a Ferrari for his music video. Like he wanted to like have one in his music video, and so one of the guys on our team like went and found a Ferrari in LA, like a friend borrowed it, brought it to this shoot so he could have it in his music. That had nothing to do with Twitch, right? But it was just like that ethos. And one of the things that was really important when we started Fractal was like the same thing. I was like, day one, I was like, the customer is the game developer. Game developers are creating experiences that players want to experience and try. And if we can find the best game developers and support them however we can, maybe that looks like marketing, maybe it looks like technical support, whatever it is, anything that they want, that's what's going to make us, win here and build a platform that people care about and want to use. And so that's the ethos. And, it's nice to have that reflected back to me, because like, that's really what we care about, is like, how can we find the most creative and talented developers in the world? You guys are obviously very creative and talented, and that, I love hearing the story. And then how can we just support them however is best for them, And so that's the process. And, that hopefully our team and
we feel
asking
that.
you guys how we can
it
support.
is reciprocal,
100%.
totally reciprocal. We feel that. And it's been incredible. Like the team that Fractal has built is highly I feel it is advanced in this space, is new, but you've developed this amazing team of individuals that we've been able to interact with, and it's shown us the importance of a team and of working together. And that's something that we value so strongly with Tiny Colony, and that's why we're bringing in really good people. Like we see talent in our community. Like we brought in one of our community members, heard an AMA we did on Twitter Spaces, and he reached out and was like, hey, I would love to be a part of this. And he has been absolutely incredible. And same with our DP of marketing has been incredible, Trevor and Mitch. everybody on the team has just been absolutely incredible. And it's that importance of having that, to be able to build this project and this vision that we have. And we see that totally hands down with Fractal. It's been absolutely amazing. So that's why I would love to, like, whitelisting your NFT holders for a colony sale makes absolute sense. Like, this is something that giving back to the community and stuff like that, it just makes absolute sense. And even with our NFT drops coming up with our character NFTs, we got to work that in there. The community has to be involved. So super cool.
It's all about the
I'm
people.
super stoked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly.
100%.
Absolutely.
That's what I love about this space, is it's so community driven. Like if we were starting Twitch today, I always say it would be a blockchain project, because Twitch was about creating a community, and the way that you create communities in 2022 is like to share the economic rewards and upside, and also the decision making with the community. And that infrastructure and kind of idea didn't exist 12 years ago, but it does now. And like that's what I really love about working in this space, is it's so participatory.
100%.
Yeah,
Feels like another
totally.
level of evolution in human kindness, of giving back, and developing a technology in which we are able to have all these amazing people participate, be a part of the community, and get rewarded at the same time, and be told a story.
Super rad.
Yeah.
It's super rad. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So let's also cover the details of the mint, so everybody is clear about how they get involved. The date is February 10th, right? Which is just 9 days away. Yeah.
February 10th is so let me back that up. So we have a pre-sale mint going on on our own website, where our OGs and the original like supporters from the beginning, and some that we've handed out. So we have our pre-sale mint. And then we have the Fractal mint. So there's we've done our own whitelist with our community. So you'll see our own tiny colony whitelist. And then what you see now is the public mint, but we need to change that because we need to put the hexa and the penta holder whitelist in there too. So we'll release more information about that. But that's on the 10th at 3 p.m. PST, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, very cool. And so people will see a Medium article come out from us very soon. There's also more information on Fractal's Medium page on how to whitelist. There'll be a token dropped to their wallets that allows them to participate. And so with the minting, there's 7 different factions, right? So we have the Nest Colony and the Samurai, and you can see that list on the Fractal page. And each one, like Archie was saying before, has its own story in the lore, and it has its own specific NFTs and things like that involved with each faction. So if you identify with a samurai, go for it. If you identify with a Viking, go for it. Like those.
I was going to say, I want to be Spirit. That's like my vibe.
Yeah.
I think.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, Spirit, man. And the Spirit ones are super rare. So
there's only 100 of them.
I'm going to have to get in line. I'm going to be mashing F5.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, you get in there and try to get the one that you want. And, we made them accessible. So price wise, it's very competitive. And each one comes with different abilities. So one thing that I want to stress is with the colony, there's a lot of utility with our colony. So not only are you a landholder, but there's governance capabilities like what Archie was saying before, so you could help vote and guide the game. There'll be staking, and some of, like with the Spirit Colony, there's passive earning of Teeny. So we have our token, which is Tiny, that's our main token, and then our in-game currency is Teeny. And Teeny is used for a lot of sorts of things in the game, including like participating in quests and things like that. But you can earn passive Teeny with the Spirit Colony. And there's rare drops that are happening with each colony, right, Arshia? Then that's how you envisioned it, which is amazing. Yeah,
exactly. So we have tiny packs being released with each colony. So everyone who is receiving a colony will also be getting a small chest. We'll let the community know about the details of that later, but each chest will have like a tiny pack opening event where you'll get, you know, one piece of the tinyverse in that chest. And there are certain rewards in these chests that some of these chests will include rare or epic NFTs. And within the spirit ones, only 5 of the 100 will receive a spirit gem. And the spirit gem is essentially the most valuable item in the tinyverse. It's the source of power. It's the source of energy. It's the source of the ability to run your colony. So if you have one of those, if you are lucky enough to get a spirit gem, you should hold on to it, because when the game comes out and when the DAO is set up and when the TV show DAO is set up, you will have very crazy abilities. And I'm imagining, you know, me sitting down in a call similar to this with the 5 people that own those spirit gems, talking about the journey of the tinyverse, talking about how they'd like to see things. That level of community, that level of governance, I wanted to make it like super rare. There's only 5 of that in the whole in the tinyverse, and I'm super excited to see who those people are and see how what their ideas are for the tiny colony. And you know, it keeps me on my toes as a creator.
Yeah.
Having people chime in, having people come in and be like, hey, this is how we want it to go. It makes me as a creator similar to Zach coming up with a character and being like, I want this to fit in the story. So, and I like to be challenged. I like to be on my toes. I like to come up with creative ideas. And I feel like those people are really going to challenge me. And I feel like those people are going to force me into coming up with a really, really creative solution to making their dreams come true, you know? So yeah, it's just, you know, I want to stress how important this is for the people. We're creating an ecosystem, not a corporation. We want to set up some foundations for charity. That's something we were talking about today. There's a lot of giving back to the people we want to do, and that's just because, you know, the opportunities here in the blockchain are incredible and they could be fruitful indeed. So we want to make sure that, you know, we want to give back. That's the most important part, because I consider myself extremely lucky. You know, we've worked so much to get to here, every one of us here, and I want to make sure that I'm just super grateful and want to make sure that the people, the community, the tiny fam gets back from that as well.
Yeah, that's super rad. Yeah, I love that energy, you know. It's cool, man. I love it.
Yeah.
One question from the chat was, aside from the spirit colony, are the other colony types equivalent, or do they have different advantages, or they're thinking about what to purchase?
For sure, yeah. So we have the nest colony, which is the basic colony that gives you access to the tinyverse. As Topher mentioned before, you don't need a colony to play the game, but when you have a colony, you'll have access to the full game, let's say, and you can keep building and building to your heart's content. So for the nest colony, those are the basic ones. Each set of colony comes with a certain number of tiny scraps. Tiny scraps are the basic resource you need for building cells. So the higher the tier of the colony is, the more tiny scraps you will receive. Also, the governance abilities. So the nest colonies are 1 tier. The Persian, Samurai, and Viking are tier 2. The Sorcerer and Spirits are the next. The Sorcerer and the Scientist are the next tier, and then the Spirits are the next tier as well. So each tier will have a certain amount of tiny scraps and governance abilities, and the tiny packs and the NFTs that they will receive will all be different based on the colony that they have purchased. So for example, someone that has purchased a scientist colony, their tiny pack will give them scientist related NFTs and nothing from other ones. Because all of our NFTs, even down to the weapons, they're all going to have different factions as well. It's not just the characters. Every item, every 18 different types of NFTs that we have are all split into all these different factions, which makes it hard on the art team, but it sticks true to the story a little bit. So yeah, it's there there's tons of perks that come with each of them, but obviously the sorcerers and the sorcerers, scientists, and the spirits kind of the higher level.
Yeah, I think so. If you're going to choose a faction, Justin, I mean, we know which one you want to buy. You're going to buy the spirit one. And so if you go in and you choose, I think if you read more about the lore and the story behind it, because it's pretty rich, but you know, choose the one that you identify with, or the one that you like, you know, like the one that you want to engage with and those characters and things like that. So
Yeah.
I think that would be so. If you're going to choose one, go for the one that you identify with and that you want to play. You know, it's
Absolutely.
you're not going to make a bad choice. I can tell you that. Now, obviously, like with the rarity and things like that, that obviously plays a factor. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I know I'm going for the, like, my favorite one is Samurai. I'm not going to lie. I love that story. I love the artwork with it, the scientist and the samurai. So I'll probably go in on that one. So, yeah.
Incredible. All right, guys. Are there any things you wanted to get out there that we didn't cover already? I feel like we've kind of
Yeah, no, I
have a
think
pretty good
we
picture
covered.
of-
Yeah, we covered quite a bit. And one thing I just want to mention, that we will be having our new website coming out soon, including the land sale page, which we'll post soon. We'll have more details coming about the pre-sale mint as well as the fractal mint. And we're going to work on the whitelisting the fractal NFT holders. You have your House of Sparta in 10 minutes, right? I see that counter coming down. That's exciting. So I want to go watch that, certainly. And you know, we're just really happy to be part of the Fractal partnership and part of you guys' team, and it's just been super rad. So yeah, but we covered. I think we got it all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time and, you know, giving us the space to talk about our project and talk to you. And yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here on this call. Great pleasure to, you know, partner with you guys. And we're just super excited to tell our story and create our product and have our community interact with it and enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, Topher, thanks so much for joining. For everyone watching, I'll do a video explaining how to, you know, buy in the Tiny Colony Mint closer to the when we do the launch. So
Sweet.
yeah, looking forward to it. I know I'm looking forward to getting mine, and I'll see you guys all soon. Go
Awesome.
Spirit.
Cool.
Thank you, Justin.
Awesome.
Bye,
You guys-
Justin.
Take
Thank
care.
you
Have
so
a good
much,
one.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.